Welcome to Phoenix and the Dragon. It's early evening here on our Welsh riverbank. The sun's just going down, so it's a perfect time to finish reading the second part of the short story, The Waterfall. Thank you for coming back to listen to it, and I really hope you enjoy it. Early the next morning, before the sun had spread its glow, Cara and Jarvid showed Amy the river. The opposite riverbank was 5 times as far away as the length of the pool, but a mere teepee's width of water flowed along the riverbed. "Where's all the water? It's rained plenty." Amy remembered that the circles of grass where the horses liked to graze had become waterlogged and boggy less than 1 moon cycle ago. "This river used to encircle our village like a pond, and abundant fruit grew on the riverbank. The tributary is blocked further up. We cannot reach it, and even if we could, we don't have the resources to shift it." "Blocked? By what?" "Rock." Amy sat on the riverbank shaking her head, holding in her hands, desperate to flush out the reality that was emerging inside it. The community had been warned there might be tremors. She remembered her mother speaking at dinner. Part of a rock face had become unsafe, so it was safer to bring the rock in a controlled explosion. Nothing was mentioned about stopping the flow of a river to the sea. Tears ran from her eyes as she first laughed and then sobbed. Of course it wasn't mentioned. Neither the sea nor these people existed. The sun began its descent in the sky, and Amy and Jarvid set off towards the waterfall. Amy wore her new jacket and a hat of reed and grass made for her by Cara, her own skin jacket hanging from a cord at her waist and her skin trousers folded over the knees. Grasshoppers leapt from their path. Jarvid caught one to show her. They ate sharp apples and crunchy pears, Jarvid carefully keeping all the seeds in a pouch on his belt. They heard the waterfall before they saw it, a rhythmic boom echoing around the trees. Jarvid carried her across the pool to the side of the waterfall. Amy didn't look up. Knowing she was about to attempt to climb up the rocks was fear enough, without knowing the extent of the ascent. With Jarvid behind her, she inserted her fingers as he told her, and pulled herself up 1 stone at a time to the ledge. She turned to seat herself, rubbing and squeezing her numb fingers. Jarvid waved goodbye and dived from the rocks into the pool directly beneath the waterfall. She called, disappointed he would not hear her, "I will keep my promise. I won't listen to 1 more second of your nonsense." "What about this?" Amy threw her new jacket on the table. "What am I supposed to say?" "We don't have the skills to make such soft and beautiful clothing, Mother. These people can teach us new skills, and we can share ours. Jarvid saved me from drowning. He said he will teach me to swim. These are kind people. Move the rock away from the river, allow it to flow, and we can live alongside these people." "What people?" Amy snatched back her jacket and put it on. "How can you be like this? You're lying to your people." "I do what I must to protect this community. Is your memory so short?" Amy sat down beside her mother. "No, Mother, I remember. Many women lost partners, and I, like many children, lost my father." "Then you know why there cannot be any other people but ourselves." "Father and the other men chased after a wisp of smoke that wasn't there, but these people are." 2 men confirmed they'd seen smoke beyond the Blue Mountain, after drinking mushroom tea. "Amy!" Amy stood up, heat rising through her body. She willed the volcanic wave to stop, but words erupted from her mouth. "You believe the men, even though it went against the words of the stories, but you won't believe your own daughter." Elena's eyes narrowed as she stood to face Amy. The chill from her stare cooled Amy's anger, and her words froze in Amy's heart. "You will never, do you understand, ever speak to me like that again. While I rule for the council and decide on their behalf, You are one of the community, not my daughter. Amy squeezed her hands into fists, digging her nails into her palms until she reignited the fire. I've never been your daughter, admit it. I hated lessons unless they were practical, and I didn't want to learn to sing in the choir. When you expected me to sit quietly learning basket making like the other girls, I wanted to shoot a bow in the woods with the boys. When the men left for the land beyond the Blue Mountain, my skills proved priceless, yet you failed to acknowledge them. I am a disappointment to you, as you seem to know everything about me. What am I going to do now? Ignore me, like you always do. Elena's mouth smiled. You've caused disruption in the community, failing to turn up for last night's meal and being absent all day. You will tell people, if they ask, that you have been unwell. That is what I told them. You will tell no one what you have seen. Amy turned to leave the room, the pain in her heart screaming in her ears. Seen? I haven't seen anything or anyone, have I, Mother? The hunt had ceased to thrill Amy long before she met Jarvid and his people, but now she was distracted, frustrated that she couldn't persuade her mother or think of a way to help the village herself. She needed to speak to Star, but her time was taken up with hunting for food. In her armour, wooden arm and shin guards, and with her bow on her shoulder, Amy searched for Star among the caverns, weary from the night's hunt. Aching legs forced her to stop, and as she leaned on the cavern wall, she thought how much she needed to see him. His song filled her head. I will meet you by the waterfall. Forcing one foot before the other, Amy stumbled towards the cave opening and the tumultuous rush of water. Your mother gathers warriors. What? Amy stared into the beautiful brown eyes of the horse. She has told the army that aliens are invading, that they have made camp and are waiting to overthrow the community. They are armed to kill. Amy fell to her knees, thumping the rough earth with her knuckles while biting back tears. How can she be so stupid, so short-sighted? Star sang his response. Your mother sees the needs of the people today and builds up their uniqueness to make them feel special, to keep them motivated when food is scarce and the winters are cold. But to kill other people, even without this assault, she knew blocking the tributary would destroy the river and deprive other people. She surmised there might be people, but yes, she knew the river would dry up. But she sought to protect your community's water supply. Amy shook her head. Because we are unique? No, because she cares about her people, or because she rules the people. The council meets, and they are ruled by my mother. But this community is a democracy. His song was shrill and agitated. Amy stood and placed an arm around his neck, gently rubbing his nose. This community is not a democracy. It is told what to do by my mother. She was elected by the people, and when did anyone ever cross her? Star hung his head. The tip of his silver horn traced a spiral on the ground. What's that? It is the energy of life. The journey you travel is an evolving one with twists and turns. Paths open, dead ends loom. Your mother began upon this spiral, but she now goes round in circles. I don't understand. Star nuzzled her hand and she stroked him, leaning her head against his neck. Amy, the energy of life was given to this community and others after the cataclysms. A new journey was given to them too. And my mother has left the path. I'm sorry. I will help you. But how will I get to Jarvid's village? I must warn them. Trust me, Amy. Climb on my back. Do you know a shortcut? I am Star, leader of the horses of this planet, long before your kind were thought of. Your mother's betrayal saddens me, but more than that, she seeks to harm those we chose to save. Climbing onto Star's back, he trilled a new song, filling her head with the music of the past. Song of the earth, the rock, the mother, song of the fire that gave all birth, song of the wind that blows through the mountains, song of the water that nourishes the earth. The final word shone in her mind, and Star leapt through the waterfall. She was wet, but instead of plunging into the frothy depths below, she and Star soared into the sky on strong, broad wings. How can we stop them, Amy? We are not fighters. We use spears to catch our food, but only take what we need. We can't kill people. Amy sat on the beach with Javed, Kara and the other villagers, while Star, his wings invisible, galloped through the surf to the noisy delight of the children. But they're coming to kill you. We must meet them and talk. How can you be sure my mother will listen? Kara shook her head. We can't, but we've never raised arms against others, and we will not start now. We've had other visitors here, many wielding weapons, but they use force out of fear. Once they see there's nothing to be afraid of, they leave or are welcomed as part of our village. Our Sanya came with her brother and mother last month, and now they live among us. Do you always carry weapons? I hunt for food for my people, nothing more. I'm not a warrior. She blushed at the words. Protecting innocent people was a worthy cause, one she was prepared to fight for, so maybe Kara was right, and she was a warrior after all. The sun bounced crystals off the water. Amy watched the villagers. They sat mending fishing nets or playing with the children. Though Amy knew they were in imminent danger, a peaceful calm fell over her as she watched the first boat pushed out to sea. She stood as Star approached and rubbed his damp neck. I will come with you to meet your mother. The two tribes met in a green valley between two hills. Elena, suited in full armour, led her warriors from the back of a pure white horse, while Amy and Javed approached on foot. Star walked behind them, the village following, children crying at the sight of the hostile army. The warriors halted at Elena's command, and she and two of her officers rode to meet Amy. You are a traitor to your people. You know I am not, Mother, but I will not stand back and see life taken without cause. You see these people, and they are the same as us. They are aliens, demons here to destroy our community. The warriors behind Elena shouted and waved their swords. They are people just like us. They too were spared, given life upon this world after the cataclysms. The stories are wrong, not the old ones, but the stories that enforce the uniqueness of our community. There are other chosen communities on this earth, and there is no need for fighting. There is plenty of water for everyone. Once the tributary is unblocked, this village can survive, and we can learn from them. The water is ours, for our community. We were here first. We are the chosen, and no one will take it from us. The warriors roared, crashing swords against shields, sending echoes reverberating around the valley. Star stepped forward, filling every mind with his song. You are wrong, Elena. The water on this planet came from the great horse who pierced the first cloud with his horn, giving life to all that lived upon the earth. This water belongs to all. The warriors stilled on their mounts, looking to Elena for guidance. I am Elena, leader of my people, and I say we will not share what is rightfully ours. We will fight. Amy, stand aside. I won't let you do this. These people can't defend themselves against an army. Then you will die with them. You would kill your own daughter? If our community depends on it. Elena drew her sword and held it aloft, rallying her army to her cause. No! Star leapt, his wings spreading, beating the air. People and horses fell to the ground. Your people were given the precious gift of life, helped and guided by the horse. Yet you seek to take away that gift from others. Go back to your community, stone people, underground people, and stay there. With one puff of breath from his lungs, Elena and her army were sent bowling down the valley, with Star flying behind them. Regaining her feet, Elena drew her bow, aiming at Star as he flew overhead, but the notched arrow never left its string. Her mount Blaze knocked her over with a kick of his hoof, before impaling her in the earth with his horn. All the white horses took to the air, chasing the warriors back to the caverns. Gusts and eddies swirled around the valley, while the villagers clung to each other in the face of such power. Cara saw Elena's fate and held Amy close as she wept. A crescent moon lit a silver path across the ocean. Amy wished she could walk upon it to a world without greed and lust for power. When her father and the other men sought the makers of the smoke, their aim was not to conquer, but to exchange, trade, and live beside new people. Without his calm, gentle voice to guide her, her mother sought no counsel but her own, craving ultimate supremacy for herself as well as her people. Will they come back? I brought rocks down behind the waterfall, so the pool belongs to Jarvid's village now. Blaze and storm move the rocks from the blocked tributary. Soon water will flow freely again. You were very brave, Amy. Amy stroked his neck, rubbing her head against his soft, fluffy nose. I am a daughter of the people you saved and gave life to. I know the stories. Share the old stories here and listen to those of this village. Cherish life, for it is as precious as the water that sustains it. Write new stories, Amy, stories of friendship and cooperation. Write new stories in this old world. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope you enjoyed the story The Waterfall. You can find all my books on Amazon if you go to my author page. Just type in Wendy Steele. And it'd be really lovely if you can join me again for more stories on the riverbank here at Phoenix and the Dragon. Thank you so much. Bright blessings.